going on, guys? This is Slime Boss here, and welcome back to another Fairy Fountain podcast. I am not, unfortunately, joined by my usual co-host, Hylian Hero. He's unfortunately taking care of his grandma who has the flu. But in his stead, I am joined by the wonderful, amazing, special guest, Ash Paulsen of GVG. How's it going?
Wow, wonderful and amazing. I feel so welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's just, I've been watching, obviously, you've probably heard this a million times, but I've watched you since the GX days, but we recently had Steve on the show, and, might as well try to get all three of you guys somehow, some way.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I'm sure Derek would love to do it too. I'm just happy to be here. And it's always an honor, no matter how many times I hear it. It's always an honor to hear that anybody has been watching what I and we do ever since the GX days, which is almost a decade ago now.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
9 years ago. So no matter how many times I hear it, it never stops being humbling, and I always appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah. So, how we do things here, since Hylian isn't here, is basically we're just talk about the news, do what you guys do on TNT, just for, a little bit more important stuff from the last month, specifically November. And just, we'll start off with just game releases and then just general news after that. So,
sounds good.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna go. So I don't know if you got to try out the new Animal Crossing update, and the whole DLC, but I still haven't gotten a chance to do it. I'm still working through my way through Dread alone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never played a Metroid game before, but Kraid is so hard.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, that's a tough one to start with too, because Metroid Dread is not an easy game, especially if you're not used to Metroid games and 2D Metroid games in particular. So, yeah, I mean, hats off to you. That's a tough game to start with in that series. As for the Animal Crossing DLC, I have not played it only because I haven't really played much New Horizons beyond. I did a PAX East preview. Was it PAX East? I think, yeah, like before it came out. But beyond that, I'm not an Animal Crossing guy, really. I feel like I had my fill with Wild World and New Leaf, and I put quite a bit of time into both of those, but I just had my fill. So I never bothered picking up New Horizons. I'm glad it exists for people who love Animal Crossing. I think I'm just kind of done with Animal Crossing. It's just not the kind of game I really enjoy playing all that much,
Yeah.
So yeah, sad to say I haven't checked out the new DLC, but I've heard, people are really happy with it, and it did bring back one of my favorite elements of New Leaf, which was Brewster and the Roost. I'm a huge coffee drinker. A lot of people who know me know that I love my coffee, and so I was kind of aghast when I found out that Brewster was not already in New Horizons. So I'm glad they brought him back.
The only thing that I will say is, well, other than the fact that this is also my first Animal Crossing game too. So,
okay.
Yeah, I've always just been a Mario and Pokemon guy. Like, I didn't even get into Zelda until the Switch era, like Breath of the Wild. So, yeah, so this is my first foray into Animal Crossing, and I've had a lot of fun, but it's just like more like I haven't touched the update, but the concept of how popular it got, and then just not doing anything for really months until they decided to release the full 2.0 update, which is a great update, but it's just like little too late, I guess.
Yeah, it did seem like it took them a little while to get that 2.0 update out, and that might be because of the pandemic, but it seemed like New Horizons content kind of fell off there or I should say New Horizons content kind of fell off there for a while, and I've gotten that sense from other Animal Crossing fans that as good as the update is, that it might. I was just saying that I have heard from other Animal Crossing fans that the 2.0 update, as good as it is, it's just maybe a little bit too late. Too little too late, as you said. That maybe just there is too much of a gap in no new content for Animal Crossing.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on from that, we also got the release of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which I know that you unfortunately hadn't had a chance to play, but
yeah,
you have played the original, so you can, based on my experience with the game, you're not missing out on really anything, and I'm sure you've heard from Derek as well.
Yeah, and Derek even posted a video that he would, not quite a review, is more kind of just like a post-mortem breakdown, and he's like, it's not a bad game, it's just kind of boring and kind of safe, and that's kind of the sense I got. I never had an issue with the art style. I actually like the chibi art style that seeks to recreate the look of the original Diamond and Pearl, but just I have too little free time to play games, and other games I would rather play. Like I've been playing Kena, Bridge of Spirits. I'm just about to finish Guardians of the Galaxy right now, and Pokemon. Like I want to play it, but I just feel like I'm a little bit burned out on the Pokemon formula. I got about halfway through Gen 7 and dropped it. I didn't bother playing Sword and Shield at all. And I just kind of I'm looking forward to Arceus because that's kind of a spin on the formula, and
Yeah.
maybe something that's going to feel a bit new. But I want to play Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl at some point, but it's not a huge priority for me, especially considering Gen 4 was already my least favorite generation. So I'm just kind of like, I'll play it when I get there, but I have other games I would rather prioritize.
Yeah, I mean, I might this might make me seem like really young, but like I started with Gen 6, so that was like my
Gotcha.
first. Well, I played a little bit of Soul Silver when it first came out, but like I was way too young to understand the Pokemon,
Sure.
even though it's super simple. But I couldn't get past like a certain part, and I had to have my uncle help me throughout the game. So it wasn't like my first real foray into the series, but it wasn't until X and Y that I really got into it, and I loved the Gen 3 remakes. It made me want to go back and watch Chugga Conroy's Let's Play of Emerald. Just
Yeah.
I kept going, and then Gen 7 I was just so disappointed by it, and then Gen 8 came around. I'm just like, something's going on. Like I can see a lot of potential in these games, but just they're not
Right.
fully like I guess they're not. I guess they don't have enough time to do what they want to do with it.
Right.
And
Yeah, well, and I'm curious actually because Gen 6 gets a bad rap. A lot of people don't like Gen 6. I'm actually one of its few defenders, and I'm
same.
curious as someone who, okay, yeah, that was my question
No, it
is
is my
since
favorite
that was your
generation. Just like the entirety of
nice,
it, like
very
Oraz
cool,
and XY, like it is my favorite because
nice.
I love Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution was a great twist on the formula, but then when they added Z
Mhm.
moves, it was just like, okay. I mean, they're cool looking, but they're not. They're just a free win button. At least there was a little bit of strategy with Megas, and then Dynamax was just like the same thing as Megas. Like, why didn't you
Agreed.
just bring it back?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, just I don't know. And then Diamond and Pearl, I was so excited because I've been hearing about how great Diamond and Pearl was just from everybody on Twitter and my like local friends and stuff. And I've never played the original, so I was like, okay, let me wait until there's maybe possibly a remake to come out.
right.
And everyone was preaching to Pokemon that just please give us this remake, and they finally did, and it was incredibly disappointing. So it's just like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm having fun duping Pokemon too. Shh, don't tell anybody. But
Your
uh,
secret safe with me.
but yeah, no, I'm having a lot of fun with it. But it's just like it's missing something that most remakes have. Like even all the way back in Fire Red, they had at least the Sevi Islands. Like
Right.
they don't have anything with this except for the Ramanas Park, which I really I'm not looking forward to because of how much RNG it is with the underground anyway. So it's just
Right.
like there's nothing here that entices me to or to make it a different experience from the original, I guess.
Right, yeah, and yeah, like I said, Gen 4, I have kind of a skewed perception of it because as I said, it's my least favorite generation. Part of that though is because I never played Platinum, and I've heard from everybody who has that it fixed Diamond and Pearl's biggest problem for me, which was its utterly incomprehensibly slow, chunky battle system.
Yeah.
Like it's so slow and sluggish compared
I
to like
don't
Gen 3 and Gen 5, which are so speedy and snappy.
that's
And
the
apparently Platinum fixed that.
that's the weirdest thing about Gen 4 is that it seems like it's the same engine as Gen 3, but it's just like did they miss something in the code that makes it so slow? Like even the overworld is slow. Like I could never
Mhm.
understand why this was the only generation that did that.
Well,
You
I don't
know,
think it's the same engine because Gen 3 was GBA and Gen
a
4
similar
WES.
engine because
Similar engine, yeah.
some of the assets are the same. But
Right.
you understand what I'm saying. Like it's just
Mhm.
like it's a weird anomaly in the
Yeah.
series. And
And then
from
Gen 5 fixed it again.
yeah, I guess they had a better hand on the hardware. But I had a friend who
Yeah.
told me that it's not the amount of time that the Pokemon company has, which I fully believe it is because we do not need a new Pokemon game every year or hell even
Right.
in 2 months. But it it's more Junichi Masuda's thing because every single game that people praise, Platinum, Black 2, White 2, and I think like Emerald or Crystal, those were not made by or directed by Junichi Masuda. It was some other developer that they had used for the extra content in them. And I think the same thing could be said for the DLC as well for Sword and Shield, and that they think those games are better than the original games because it wasn't Junichi Masuda. So
Interesting.
I don't know. I say that a lot of rumors are coming around about Gen 9 is coming out next year too. Please, for God's sake, no.
Soon.
I know. Like we Arceus is going to be fine for next year.
Yeah.
It's just please take your time, Game Freak. I know Pokemon Company is a little stressful at times. Just please take your time. That's all I have to say.
Right. No, fully agreed. I'd rather them take their time, and I want to see them. You know, I am not a proponent of innovation for innovation's sake. I don't think games need to innovate to be good. I think you can take a well-worn formula and just do it really well, put your own spin on it, and still have a great game. But with Pokemon, Game Freak has always played it so safe, and they're finally starting to branch out a little bit with Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that kind of, you know, puts a spin on the formula. But just with Pokemon in general, I'm so burned out on it because they just, it's so safe, and each generation, even though it's a different region, they end up feeling so similar. Gameplay wise at least. And so I'm really hoping that Gen 9 they step out of their comfort zone a little bit. Stick with what works. I get that. That's cool. But just do something to mix it up a little bit for those of us who've been playing Pokemon since, in my case, Gen 1. And it's just, I need something different to pull me back in, I think.
Yeah, and we know that Game Freak can make good games because they have in the past.
Right.
And also Ant Dude has showed us that they have other things that they can do good.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's I don't know, it's quite a weird situation. I would reference Call of Duty as well, but they have a myriad of other issues as well.
That is for sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just Pokemon games are always terrible, and we're just blinded by nostalgia. Who knows?
I think there's a reason the series has endured as long as it has. I mean, these games are mostly, I think they're great games. I just think they, especially recently, have just been playing it too safe. And you know, and Game Freak has also always had a problem with hardware mastery, right? Their games tend not to be optimized very well in terms of performance, and I feel as though that's just those are the same hurdles that keep presenting themselves generation after generation. And I just really want them to get it right with Gen 9 in terms of trying something new and stepping out of their comfort zone a little bit. Because even though I didn't play Gen 8, I, you know, obviously heard all the complaints, and, you know, I never cared about Dexit. I never cared about any of that. Like, hey, I'll still enjoy a Pokemon game even if it doesn't have all 800,000 Pokemon obtainable. That's fine with me. But
I agree on that front. Yeah, definitely.
I didn't care about the whole Dexit thing. I thought that was way overblown. But yeah, I just needed to do something a little different to pull me back in. And well, you know, we'll see if they do it or not. But right now, I'm kind of in that casual Pokemon fan space where I'm like, I still like the series, I still pay attention to it, but I'm not like counting down the days to each new game, right?
Yeah, the irony in that is that the crazy powerhouse that is Gen 2, thanks to Iwata, but
right,
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we can kind of stay on topic with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So, like, literally right before release, the game just leaked, and it was just a mess, honestly. Like, the game, like, honestly, most of the stuff that I already knew, but just, you know, I don't know if you know who Centro Leaks is, the guy who's kind of the one leading it all. It's just, after every tweet, it's just more disappointing, and it's just like, do I really want to buy the game now? Like, but I ended up doing it, obviously. But
right,
it's just so disappointing to see that. It's just makes me sad.
Leaks are never a good thing for the industry. I mean, where because of what we do, we have to cover them if they happen, but we would prefer them not to happen. For example, I am so happy and thankful that Sora didn't leak.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad that we got to react to that genuinely and properly. And it would have just, you know, if Sora had leaked, we would have had to cover it. We couldn't ignore it. But I always prefer when things don't leak,
the
and so I was definitely bummed out to see when BDSP leaked.
the biggest moments in Smash Ultimate's like hype cycle was without leak. Like the whole "Everyone Is Here"
Yeah,
trailer, Sora. I mean, Steve people. I guess Virtuben was talking about Steve for like even in the Smash 4 days apparently,
right.
which I didn't know about. But you know,
He
most
was,
of the
yeah.
big moments were pretty much leak free, which is great. But I guess Pokemon is just. I think someone got a copy from like Mexico or something, which okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
And then the last
yeah.
thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, that was I had
Oh, okay.
nothing new.
The last thing with it was Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl had the last trailer, and they're still
Right.
making trailers now for even though the game's already out. But it just showed off Ramana Spark, but the game's been out for about a month already. People understand
Right.
that, so I'm just going to move on. The next game that came out was SMT5. Have you got a chance to play that? Or are you interested in the Persona Shin Megami Tensei series?
Man, I'm scared to even say this for any of your listeners who are big SMT fans. I've always been a bit more into the Persona side of things. That's not to say that Persona is better than SMT. I'm not saying that. I promise. I'm not one of those reviewers who thinks that SMT is Persona without the heart and Persona
Oh God.
without the social links. I'm not saying that. SMT is really cool. It's just not my thing as much personally. But Steve enjoyed it. Steve reviewed it for
Yeah.
us, and he enjoyed it. And that's just one of those games that I would like to play, but I just, again, limited time, too many games to play, and SMT5 just isn't really that high on my priority list. But it's something that I would like to check out later on. But no, I haven't personally played it, but I've been following the chatter around it, and it seems as though it landed well with people, if not incredibly well.
Yeah.
It seems like it's generally made the fan base happy, but it's not necessarily seen as the best game in the franchise or anything.
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing about it, right? Is that SMT is almost like one of those niche Japanese only type series, like Xenoblade
Right.
was. It's just I'm glad that it's finally giving the recognition that it deserves. I think that's the most you can
Me
take
too.
away from this. I am
I
not
just wish.
personally an SMT Persona fan.
Mhm.
Um, I want to get in the Persona series, like you said, but I'm kind of waiting on. I bought a PS Vita, and I want to get a
Oh,
PS5,
nice.
so that I can, because I've always been a Nintendo guy. You can
Okay.
probably tell, but
Yes, definitely.
I have never really gone into PlayStation. I've had a PlayStation in my house. It was my stepfather's, but I've never really got to play it because he was always on it. But
Gotcha.
I missed out on like Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter and Sly Cooper and all these amazing PlayStation only series.
Mhm.
And so I'm kind of waiting for to get a PS5 so I can play the majority of PS4 games. I bought a PS Vita and a PS5, or I'm going to buy a PS5 eventually to just play
Right.
just a backlog of PS4 games or just PlayStation games in general. And Persona is one of those on my list. So unfortunately, I'm not too into that series, but I'm glad that it's getting the recognition that it deserves, especially after Smash.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think Persona has always kind of hit the mainstream a little bit more than Shin Megami Tensei, and I'm glad that SMT5 seems to have kind of shown the spotlight specifically on SMT a little bit more because Persona has always had a bit more of that mainstream appeal,
Hmm.
and I know that's kind of led to a lot of bad blood between SMT and Persona fans, and I hope that can like be resolved because you guys should be friends. Like I see
Yeah,
so much infighting between those two related fan bases, and I'm like, how about you just
they're
support each other and lift each other up?
technically
But
it's the same series. They're just spin-offs
yeah,
of each
and
other.
Persona's the spinoff. Yeah, exactly. SMT is the core series, and Persona's the spinoff that kind of just
Yeah,
broke through and kind of hit the mainstream a little bit more, I guess. And I think Persona 4 chiefly had the most to do with that. P4
yeah.
had a really broad appeal, I think, and I know that seemed to lead to a lot of disgruntled SMT fans who were like, well, our series is the real one, and it's more hardcore, and Persona's too easy, and it's like, how about you just have different flavors of the
I
same
hate
cool
that.
thing, right? I hate
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. It's just let people be happy.
exactly. It reminds me of what used to happen in the Mega Man fan base, where people were like, well, like the old school Mega Man fans were like, Battle Network, that's not a platformer. It's not a real Mega Man game. And it's like, no, they're all Mega Man games. They're just different series and genres. They're different flavors of the Blue Bomber. Can't we all just get along?
Just Paper Mario. That's not my Mario.
Paper Mario. Same exact thing. People were so down on Origami King before it, or when it got announced, just because it wasn't another JRPG turn-based style like 64 and Thousand Year Door.
Yeah.
And I love Thousand Year Door and 64. They are awesome games. Still my favorite in the series. But you know what? Origami King ended up being awesome. And I can't stand that that series infighting. I know exactly what you mean.
All right. Well, can't stay on negative topics for too long, but I wanted to move on to the next thing, but I need to go grab it real quick because I think it would be better for visual effect.
Oh, okay, nice.
The Zelda Game & Watch released, and this thing is just
very nice.
So cool. I'm never going to play any of the games on it, but it'll sit on my shelf. It looks good on the shelf, especially with that stand. But there's so much more packed into this than you might expect, which is crazy for how small of a form factor it is, and compared to the Mario one. But yeah, it's just cool.
It's neat. Yeah, I don't have one myself. I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't collect as much anymore, just because I don't really. I live in LA, so I live in an apartment, and we have room, but not that much room, and so I as you can see from my background, I haven't really even had time to set up a proper background, and a bunch of my stuff is in the closet back there, and I haven't even set it up. So there's just not much point in me buying new stuff that I'm not going to set up. So yeah,
you can always just pull up a green screen.
Pull
up a green screen to have Scott the Waz's background.
That's true, and actually, I'm looking at getting a green screen as part of my big new setup that I'm doing as part of a new PC I got. I'm so busy every day between my day job and Good Vibes Gaming that it's so hard to find time to do that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. The problem with me is that it's in my family, terrible money spenders. I just blow all my money, and I really shouldn't. I'm starting to save now, but point is that regardless if I need it or not, I probably have it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like Pokemon,
fair enough.
I probably should have just got Diamond, but I got the double pack because at Costco they had it for $20 cheaper. So it's like
fair enough.
But yeah. Jokes aside, it's Zelda Game & Watch is really cool, but for most, it's not enough for Zelda's 35. And when we first started this second show, Fairy Fountain, we were predicting like, oh yeah, it's gonna be way bigger than Mario's 35th anniversary, and then we got 30 seconds for Breath of the Wild 2 and a Game & Watch, and Hylian, he's so upset. Like my co-host, he's.
I kind of am too. We were chatting a bit before the show, and I agree with Hylian in that I was really hoping for a dual pack or a double pack of Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, and I hope it's something we'll still get. I'm guessing maybe the reason we haven't yet is because they didn't want that to overshadow Skyward Sword HD, and that's fair. But I hope we at least get it next year, because those games, especially the Wind Waker, should not be stuck on Wii U and GameCube. But Wind Waker HD was such a good upgrade to my favorite 3D Zelda, and I just want to see those games not be trapped on Wii U.
Yeah,
like it's so weird that they haven't done it yet. But I'm rolling with the theory that it's just because they didn't want to basically steal Skyward Sword HD's lunch.
Yeah, and I mean I have a Wii U still. It's in a drawer, dusty, but I would rather play it on Switch. And, especially because I've never played these games before. I bought Skyward Sword. I'm having a lot of fun, just don't have a lot of time. Because it's fairly lengthy, yeah. But it's, I don't know, just the more games on Switch, the better. And
so you haven't played the Wind Waker before?
No, have not.
Oh, man, it's a treasure, man, that game. And Twilight, other people might tell you Twilight Princess is better. I'm not one of them. But the Wind Waker, I think, is just a really, truly, incredibly special game, and that is a game with its art style I think would look amazing, particularly on the Switch OLED screen.
Oh yeah,
would look beautiful. So I really hope they do it.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. I really want to play Wind Waker. I think I bought it. I'm not sure for Wii U, but I don't want to deal with the gamepad. Really, I'd rather just play it on Switch. But yeah, no, that has been the Zelda game that has I've watched like Zelda Master play through. I don't know if you've heard of him, but I've watched through the majority of his playthroughs of the Zelda games, and Wind Waker has always been the one that eluded me. So I haven't seen that one yet, but I know yeah.
It's a great game.
It looks beautiful too. Like my main in Smash 4 was Toon Link, and I was like, this guy's art style is so cute. Like, you know, so.
And what's so cool about the Wind Waker too is that the art style belies what is actually a shockingly dark story. It's basically a post-apocalyptic story, but it handles it so well. And the Wind Waker is my favorite. As I said, it's my favorite 3D Zelda game in the whole franchise, and it's in my top 5 games of all time. I would say it really is just that absolutely fantastic in my opinion.
And from what I've heard, I'm not sure if this is spoilers or not, but it is a almost 20-year-old game, so it's almost like a pseudo sequel to Ocarina of Time as well. There's some elements which it's sort of like an indirect sequel, which I found really fascinating when I heard about it. So like different elements and music and leitmotifs and things like that. So.
Oh no, I mean, in many ways, it is actually a direct sequel. It's just it's one timeline branch, whereas Twilight Princess takes place on another timeline branch, going out from Ocarina of Time. But in many ways, yeah, you can hear, as you said, leitmotifs. Outset Island, you can hear the Kokiri Forest theme woven into it, and stuff like that. So no, in many ways, it's actually a direct sequel, and it's really. Clever the way they tell the story, and I kind of wish Nintendo still cared about the Zelda timeline as much as they did in those days, because Breath of the Wild, great game, but I thought the story was really lacking. And it's they kind of leave it intentionally vague as to which timeline it takes place on. It may be a timeline convergence, I don't know, but I do know that I miss Nintendo caring about that aspect of the series, but I'm probably in the minority there. I think most people don't care, and that's fine. I get
that. My question to you is then: do you think that we will still see these games, and are we done with Wii U ports?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like it makes too much sense it wouldn't make any sense, I should say, not to release those games on Switch, right? So. I think we're probably going to see them on Switch next year. Where, I guess that also depends on whether we're going to see Breath of the Wild 2 next year. And I do personally think we will. I'm thinking Breath of the Wild 2 is probably going to be like a holiday 2022 title-ish. And if that's the case, then it would make sense to, it'll be a really easy way to fill in their release calendar earlier in the year by just dropping, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD maybe in spring, right?
Get people hyped up.
So, yeah, exactly. So I think if I had to bet right now, I would say, I think we're going to see Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Ports beyond those, I don't know. I don't know that there's really... I'm trying to think of any other games that would be really worth porting from the Wii U. I feel like they've mostly done all of them.
Yeah.
The big ones.
I was surprised that they even thought... I mean, a lot of people were wanting 3D World, but in the first few years of the Switch, I was like, okay, so it seems like they're either going to do one of two things: make a sequel or port something. So that's why they didn't make Pikmin 4 or port Woolly World. But then when they released 3D World, I was like, okay, so maybe we can go back to some things like Woolly World, or I don't know why people even thought about Smash 4, but
you don't really. I mean, Smash Ultimate kind of makes 4 completely redundant.
But Woolly World, I would like to see. Nintendo Land still. Nintendo. What else? I like Color Splash. Don't hate me for that.
No, you know what? Color Splash, I don't like it as much as Origami King, but I do like it. It has its own flavor, and I'd like to see that brought over. Yeah, I couldn't think of off the top of my head if there were any other Wii U titles worth porting, but I agree with you. Color Splash, and especially Yoshi's Woolly World, because Crafted World to me was a gigantic step down in every way, especially the soundtrack. Not a bad game, just an okay one. But Woolly World is a great game, and people slept on it because it was on Wii U. That game deserves a second chance at life because it's so good.
And if they
honestly, I'd say it's almost as good as Yoshi's Island.
Oh, really? Dang.
I really like it. I love that game. Yeah.
I hope that they do like a definitive edition too, because there are a couple things in Poochie that would be great to have on console. So
yeah. Agreed.
But yeah, I think that about covers it for that topic. Next up is Twitch. Twitch came out on Switch. um, it's just where's Netflix?
It's so weird.
I
There's
know.
still no Netflix on Switch. It's the weirdest thing. And it's cool that Twitch is on Switch. That's not really my preferred way of watching it because, I've got a 4K TV, I got a PS5, and my TV has a Twitch app built in. So, unless I'm on the go and I'm taking my Switch with me on the go and I just had to watch a Twitch stream, why would I watch it on something that maxes out at 1080p versus something that, I could conceivably watch in 4K depending on stream quality?
My phone is 4K. Like,
yeah,
it's like, and I don't even understand. Like, I don't think I ever watched Netflix on even like the Wii U or like, why would you ever watch it on 3DS? I don't even know why they thought that was a good idea. But
I never understood that. Yeah,
I know some people that do. Like, some kids maybe watch something on their DS or something back in the day. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it doesn't make sense why Netflix is not on it. It's just not. I'm not going to use it on Switch.
Right.
So that's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it's there. I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I'm glad it's there for people for whom it makes sense to watch Twitch on Switch, but I'm just not that person.
Yeah. I mean, I guess not many people have OLEDs, so if you have a Switch OLED, you can watch Twitch streams with an OLED screen.
Yeah, there you go. I've been thinking, like, Steve has been trying to convince me to get a Switch OLED, and I'm like, dude, as much as I want one just on principle because I know it's sleeker and I want the latest and greatest, I don't really need one because I barely play my Switch on handheld mode right now because I'm not traveling as much due to the pandemic. And I even got my Switch year in review report recently, and literally it was like 680 hours on TV mode and like 11 hours on handheld mode. And I'm like, that is emblematic of the reason why I don't really need a Switch OLED. I'd rather prioritize getting an Xbox Series X because I have a PS5.
Scott the was in his 5 Wii U's.
Right. Yeah.
What I do is that I really like the form factor of the Switch Lite, so I bought both. I have the new 1.0 or 2.0 or whatever, the new battery life Switch and the Switch Lite, and I use, like, most portable games like Link's Awakening, Pokemon I have on my Switch Lite, and I take that wherever, and I usually leave my regular Switch in the dock and play like Metroid Dread and Mario 3D World and things like that. So I kind of like split it so it kind of looks even on my year in review, but I just rather take that around than take, because with me I would rather, even though I'm not going anywhere, I tend to usually take the dock and extra Joy-Cons with me just to play with friends or whatever, so I just rather take the smaller one.
Same. Yeah.
But yeah, anything else? Sorry.
No, I mean, not particular. I mean, I might end up buying the Switch OLED dock separately myself.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I like it more aesthetically. I like that it has a physical Ethernet port without the need for an adapter. So I might replace one of my Switch docks with the OLED one, and it's like $70. So,
and I have
it's not like not priority for me.
Sneaking suspicion that you'll end up buying an OLED and then 2 weeks later, Switch or Nintendo will be like, "Oh, here's your Pro. Here's your Pro that you've been begging for years."
That's the thing, is, like, I mean, I've only got 2 trips planned in the coming months, and that's MagFest in January and PAX East in April. And beyond that, I don't really see myself traveling too much right now. Mm-hmm. So I just don't feel like I need to get the OLED for 2 trips. I'm fine just playing my regular Switch. I mean, if I'm able to get one and I have a little bit of extra money to burn, sure, why not, right? But I'd rather just wait for the Switch Pro or 4K or whatever the hell they're going to call it.
All right, I think that we've talked about that enough. So I'm sorry, I'm really bad at transitions. You guys are so much better at that. You're just like,
it comes with practice and time. All good.
So Ocarina of Time had 3 big major things. Is that there's a lot of stuff that came out about the beta, with just like this. I think they someone recreated the Space World demo, I think it was.
Yes.
And then they found out that there was like portals or something that they were gonna use in Ganon's castle, or I guess it was like supposed to be the Mario 64 type element that we've been hearing about.
That was the initial idea that Miyamoto had for Zelda 64 before they before they course corrected and turned it into the more openish world game that it is. Not open world, but
Yeah.
more expansive game with interconnected areas.
And it's just crazy to me that, first of all, you're even able to like reverse engineer it in order to make. Or wait, was that two different stories that they remade Space World and reverse engineered it, or?
I think they're two separate but interrelated stories. There was the Space World demo that was reverse engineered, and then there was the I don't think the Portal stuff that wasn't recreated.
That was just
there was a clip shared by someone who was, I guess, closer to. I don't remember. It's been a month, but someone who had access to those assets shared a short video clip of what the Portal mechanic would have looked like, but they didn't reverse engineer it.
In terms of the Space World demo recreation, that was just, I don't know how they can do that. Like,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I just think that's so cool. And if I don't even know if it's playable, but if it was, I would definitely try to check that out, because that's
just,
it
is playable. It's like three separate chunks. It's like they designed a front end that allows you to access, like a front end UI that allows you to select three different chunks of the game that's recreated what we saw in that old Space World trailer. And I'm aging myself here, but I'm old enough to remember when I first saw that trailer for the first time, and so for me, it's like, holy crap, this is so cool.
It's my favorite thing about games is that sometimes I get too attached to something, and so, or to a specific game. So it's like, well, I want more of this. I just want an extension or just more of it, and this is pretty much that. I enjoyed myself when I played through Ocarina of Time, and so this is just more of that. Which even though it's not a full game, it's just cool to see stuff that never made it to official release. So
yeah, exactly. I love stuff like that, and I was super entrenched in the Zelda 64 beta, pre-release early assets community back in the day. There was a website that Steve and I both know and love well called the Odyssey of Hyrule that was dedicated to the hunt for the Triforce in Ocarina of Time, and they were like exploring betas and searching for the long lost Light Temple and Unicorn Fountain and all that cool stuff. I love the history of Zelda 64's development. Like, that fascinates me, and I've always really been into that stuff. So anytime we get new pre-release assets of 64 or Ocarina of Time uncovered, I'm there to check it out. I love that stuff.
My favorite aspect of pre-internet is schoolyard rumors. It's the best feeling. Like, it's just we can't have that anymore.
So much. Dude, I hear you. Mew in Pokemon Red and Blue, Sonic and Tails and Smash Brothers Melee, like stuff like that just doesn't. You can't get that with the internet anymore. So I totally hear you.
Kind of with like fake leaks, but that's just it comes from a dirty place sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Also with Ocarina, I guess I do want to say something about the portals too. Like, I don't know if that was just like computer or like not on hardware or not, but like that transition was like really seamless for N64.
I know, right? It was.
That was crazy. Like, it's almost Ratchet and Clank level, which that was mind blowing alone. So
I hear. I mean, that's my game of the year so far, and probably will end up being my game of the year. Is Rift Apart. What a game that is. Absolutely adore it.
And the last thing with Ocarina of Time was that someone's actually sort of remaking it in Unity 5? No, Unreal Engine 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
think it's Unreal Engine 5, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't think that an N64 game could look so beautiful.
I know.
Like, it is so. I don't know if you've seen it, but
for a while. I have. I've seen stuff like this going on for a while, and I don't. I doubt it'll ever actually make it to a complete remake, because I think Nintendo would C&D the hell out of that.
Oh yeah.
It did. But I love the bespoke areas we're seeing. I saw Kakariko Village probably a week ago. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
I do feel like it maybe lost a little bit of the flavor of Ocarina of Time's art style in favor of a more hyper realistic look, but the environments look incredible.
I think, and like you said, it won't be a full game, but it's just nice to see. I don't think I would ever want to play it. I don't think I would ever be able to play it because it's high intense. but uh, it's just cool to see. It's beautiful. It just goes to show that, I mean, I don't even think they really changed that much about it other than maybe the art style change, but it pretty much shows that Ocarina of Time can last forever, almost like certain story elements.
Yeah, I mean, as it should. It's a classic. It's a true classic. I still remember the day I got it. Like literally the day I got it from my N64 when I was like, I don't even know how old I was, probably 12 or 13, which again, aging myself here. But I remember clearly even now that day and exploring Kokiri Forest for the first time and just being blown away. It's still one of my favorite games. Certainly one of my favorite Zelda games, but it's just a classic that I think can and should and will endure for all time.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty indicative of the name, so.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next up, I guess I didn't really talk, I didn't write this down in the list, but we had one really big update and stuff that I just haven't been able to talk about since, but I'm going to because you're here. So right. First is the Among Us update, which was massive. There's so many new things. I just was able to check it out last night. It was so fun, just experimenting with shape shifting and the scientists and stuff. It's just, it's so cool. Like this game is finally getting like the attention it deserves, from the developers. But unfortunately, the hype has died down from everybody else or the consumers of the game. But I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. I've had my very first like clickbait thumbnail 1000 IQ play with Imposter. Like I don't know if they were just did not know who it was, but I was like, I'm not playing this well. I'm doing things in front of people, but I was lying to their faces and in the call, and it was so fun, especially with the shape shifting element. But yeah, I don't think you have checked it out yet because didn't you fall off Among Us pretty early on?
I didn't really even fall off it. I never got into it. It's just not my thing. I'm not really into social deduction games. I'm terrible at lying. I always prefer playing as one of the crewmates than as the imposter. I find that that's more fun to me personally. But it's just not my speed. I respect the game. I respect that what they've been able to do with it. I love that people love it so much, but it's just not my kind of game. It's just kind of I did have a good enough time playing it with our patrons in the executive producer tier for Good Vibes Gaming. We do 2 EP streams a month, and we played Among Us recently, and it was fun. But it's just not my thing. I'd just rather play Smash or or Mario Kart or it's just not my thing.
Right.
But I've heard the new update's really cool. That the new roles are really cool, and I think we're actually going to play Among Us again for an upcoming EP stream on Sunday, so I'll be able to check it out then. But it's not something I would go out of my way to do.
Fair. Well, similar to Among Us, both being shaped people, Fall Guys has been, well, it was like almost the exact opposite of Among Us. Among Us didn't have any recognition in like when it first came out, and then just randomly blew up in 2020. And then Fall Guys was big when it first came out, and then died off, within like months of its release, unfortunately. But so far it's been getting bigger and bigger, just with all the new updates and stuff. And I haven't didn't they just release a new season like a few weeks ago?
Season 6.
Yeah.
I'm actually super into Fall Guys. Yeah. I have two of my best friends and I play it every week. We get on Discord, get a few beers, and just play Fall Guys for hours. And I don't know if I would agree with the assessment that it died. It's certainly nowhere near as big as Among Us, but it still has a pretty healthy player base. And the fact that they just reached Season 6 and they're still, making all this new content for it, I think it's got a pretty healthy, it's in a healthy place. It's not like exploding like it did, out of the gate with Season 1. And I think part of the problem, or part of the reason for that, is because I don't think Mediatonic were prepared for how popular Fall Guys would be, and it took them just a little bit too long to create some new content with Season 2. And I think a lot of that initial player base kind of just fell off. But I think they've largely been able to course correct. And Season 6 is one of the best seasons yet in terms of like every new map is fun. All the crossover costumes they're doing are really cool. So I hope it continues to thrive, or at least continues to be healthy, because
Yeah.
I love Fall Guys. I think it's so fun.
I thought the concept was just amazing because I've always loved, like, it's very similar to like Nickelodeon shows like on like Nick Guts and like Legends of the Hidden Temple, which was like so cool to me, and I never had an ability to play it because I think it was only on PC and PS4 for some time, and
still is.
Yeah, so I have a PC now that I have to play it, but I just haven't yet, unfortunately. But I've been watching content creators play it all the time, and I love all the DLC or the crossover costumes, like 2B, okay, like
right,
like it's insane, like how much, like this is why I love these. I have a love-hate relationship with these battle royale type of games because there's so many cool collabs that they do for just no reason whatsoever. Like, why do we have Spider-Man standing next to I don't know, John Wick of all people, in Fortnite or something? Just I love the concept of these crazy crossovers that we don't really get to see with Smash Brothers, which used to be the antithesis of crossover. So,
right. No, it's a lot of fun. I'm still waiting for my Mega Man costume collaboration. That's what I really want to see happen, because we got Sonic, we got Bomberman of all characters, we got Shovel Knight. Look, if you can have Sonic, Bomberman, and Shovel Knight, you gotta have Mega Man. Let's just be.
I feel like it's coming. It has to be coming.
I hope so. I really hope so.
And we'll see what happens. Mega Man and Lady D.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'd like to see more Capcom collaboration with Fall Guys in general. Yeah, not just Mega Man, but Resident Evil and Okami, and Ace Attorney would be awesome. Like, bring it all on. I want to see more Capcom collaborations with Fall Guys. Yeah,
I never really put the Fall Guys on the list for news usually, but I just wanted to talk about that since you were here, and I know that you really love Fall Guys, and I really want to get into it. And I think that the game has just gotten better over time, really, especially with these crossovers.
Yeah.
Excuse my voice crack.
It definitely helps. Oh no, it happens to me too when I speak too high, like my voice goes too high. It'll crack sometimes. I know exactly how that is.
And on top of that, I didn't talk about this either, but it unfortunately has been delayed. And even with the recent Indie World, isn't coming to Switch. Don't know what's going on with that. I hope it comes to Switch soon, because Switch is my primary form of play. So would like to play it on there. I hope it runs well too, because I think it's pretty laggy on PlayStation 2. So
well, that's the thing, is like you get even some frame drops on PS4 Pro when playing Fall Guys, and so I can only imagine how they're going to make it run. There's going to be a lot of optimization that needs to be done for Switch. That's
probably why it's delayed too.
The main reason for the delay. Yeah, and I'm guessing it'll probably adopt a variable resolution. I don't think it's going to be a 1080p. If they're going to keep 60 FPS, which they really need to for Fall Guys, it's probably going to be either a variable resolution, or it may just be 720p across the board.
Oh god,
but they're going to have to make some. Yeah, they're going to have to make some concessions for sure.
I just can't imagine, like, connectivity to servers isn't going to be all too great either.
Yeah, well, given Nintendo's internet or online woes,
Windows XP,
which is not where I would want to play Fall Guys personally.
Yeah, I mean,
if I had a choice,
I just need to get myself to play it on computer because I own it, I paid for it, so I gotta play it. So
it's gotta do it, yeah.
All right. I don't think that you're super duper into Minecraft, but I am, so I had to put it on here. Minecraft 1.18 released. I don't know if you maybe somehow got to check it out, but
I don't even have Minecraft. Okay. The closest I've ever gotten to Minecraft is Steve and Smash. I have no problem with Minecraft. I don't play PC games in general, and I know it's on everything now, but I see Minecraft as primarily a PC game, and I'm not really into building stuff. I'd rather just play like Super Mario Maker, right? I don't make levels. I just play other people's levels. Yeah. Minecraft, I'd rather explore than make my own stuff, I guess.
And this is almost the update for you, because what 1.18 really brought was a complete world change. Like, what I don't know what the process is of generating worlds, but there's pretty much, the world is they say it's infinity large, but it's also, there's infinity different possibilities for each individual world, and they call those seeds. So it's like you don't just pop in and it's like the same thing like Breath of the Wild, for example. Right. It's completely procedurally generated worlds, and now what they've done is they pretty much expanded it vertically, like tenfold. I don't even know how it used to be. And so like the world height has massively been increased, and also the world depth has been increased as well. So what that means is that they're allowed to create these crazy natural, I don't want to say structures, just like these giant cliffs and these crazy caves. Cliffs, right? Yeah. Like these are just crazy massive, like I don't even know how they're able to do it,
that's cool
on the coding end, but I've been having just a lot of fun just exploring these new worlds because they're so massive in scale, and I'm constantly even reminded by Breath of the Wild and all their, because Breath of the Wild is very vertically based as well because you climb a lot, and so it's I almost got the same feeling from that. But this is like one of the bigger updates that Minecraft has needed for quite a while, because there wasn't really too many new features per se, but it's just a huge, literally, upgrade than the past.
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah, no, I've heard good things about it. I just, again, I don't really have a ton of free time, and so Minecraft would just, I know if I got into the exploring end, it would suck me in for more time than I have, but I have to keep playing games, and so I can talk about them. I have games to review, like sometimes. So it's just, it's just not a game I've really gotten into, but I know people obviously adore it and continue to. It just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I'd say if you ever have one of those nights where you don't really have to make too much progress in it, just if you have one of those nights where you're chilling out, you have a little bit of time, and you have your Switch, just lay out in bed, just explore the world, and just kind of chill out. That's what I think the best option, if you were to ever play it, is.
Gotcha.
So, and honestly, that's what a lot of people need, is just to relax and play a game sometimes, because I feel like I just feel like I'm always playing a game for work, even though I'm not getting paid for this. Like, I just feel like, I have to play it, so I have to talk, so I can talk about it. And I never really play a game for myself anymore, Yeah. So.
Yeah, the best is when a game that you're playing, for work or to be able to talk about it, just so happens to end up really surprising you and end up being a game that you would have wanted to play anyway. Like for me, that's Guardians of the Galaxy right now. And it's just ended up being one of my best surprises of the year. And it's a game that I would have wanted to play for myself, and it just so happens that I sought it out so I could talk about it because I heard so many, good word of mouth things about it. And it's ended up being an absolute delight and something I would have played just because I wanted to.
And it's the one thing that I don't even, I mean, I love you guys, obviously, but just gaming journalism in general is just like, there's deadlines for reviews, and usually reviews are, you need to play the game, you have to experience it and really soak it in. And I just feel like reviews end up getting tainted, and you don't really get a full, a good enough experience with the game, because you just have to rush it before the game comes out, essentially, sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And so,
no, I mean, that's a huge continuing problem in game journalism and game content creation and coverage. And it's best when publishers and developers are able to give you, a nice lengthy embargo time, like 3 weeks, a month. That's always really nice. But sometimes you get a few days, and as you said, you have to blast through a game, and you're not really getting a fair assessment of it. It's definitely a problem.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've talked a lot about crossovers. We could talk about another crossover, being Multiversus finally got announced after being leaked for weeks on end. But so far so good, but I'm just tired of people saying Smash Killer, Smash Killer. Like, it's just a fun additive. Like, I'm probably gonna check it out, play it for a little bit, then be done. Same thing with Nick All Stars. I had a lot of fun. The controls aren't fully there for me because I really like the fluidity of Smash. But
same.
I'll definitely check it out for sure, because I'm a sucker for crossovers. Like, my favorite episode from TMNT 2012 was when they crossed over with themselves.
Right,
so that was
cool.
So cool. So just had I'm a sucker for crossovers. This is just another one of them, and I can't wait to see who they bring. I don't like the fact that LeBron James is even an option, but here we are.
Well, why not? I think it's hilarious.
I think it's funny too, but it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I'm hyped for this game straight up. I mean, from following my coverage for however long, I love Smash.
Yeah.
Of the three of us at Good Vibes Gaming who co-founded it, I am by far the biggest Smash fan, and I love platform fighters in general, but Smash is easily Smash Ultimate particularly is easily the best of them out there, in my opinion. I never really got as much into like Brawlhalla or Rivals of Ether or anything like that.
Yeah.
And Nick All Star Brawl, I actually have been enjoying, and I'm looking. I heard the latest update that they're working on a bunch of new characters and stages still. Like Nickelodeon's not giving up on the game. They're working on a bunch of new stages and characters. They're bringing voice acting in apparently.
Oh, that's good.
And we just got Garfield, and that was part of a leak that suggested that Shredder is going to be coming next. And
hopefully,
hell yeah, I'm such a big TMNT fan. Bring Shredder to the game. And it's nowhere near as good as Smash, and all that Smash killer nonsense is stupid. But I like it for what it is. And same with Multiversus. They just I just watched a new gameplay clip of it that they released yesterday, I think, and it looks way better than Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. It looks like they're giving it
voice
a proper
acting
budget.
Yeah,
voice acting, and it feels like the characters have weight to them. The characters and their hits have weight and impact, and I like what I'm seeing so far. And just the thought of how many properties Warner Brothers owns is it's exciting to think who we could actually see in this game. Like I'm holding out hope for the Animaniacs or one of them. I think that would be so cool to have Yakko, Wacko, and or Dot throwing down with Batman and Bugs Bunny and
so funny.
James and let's go, man. I'm in.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you. I just think the crossover potential there is just infinite, essentially.
It really is.
So I love the prospect of it. I just hope it feels good to play, because that's like the biggest problem I have with Nick All Stars. But you were saying how Nick isn't giving up on the game. I think that they're making some kind of like tennis game for mobile, and it's already looking a lot better. And Thaddeus who is like the creator of Nick All Stars, I think, or he works for the company. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. He's like, what? He's like angry. He's like, what is going on? Why did I get this? Why couldn't I do this?
I would be too. I mean, it doesn't seem as though, I don't doubt the Thaddeus and his team's passion and professionalism. I think they made the absolute best game they could with the budget they were given, but I think they were given a shoestring budget.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem.
It sounded like from him and all the tweets that he wanted to do so much more, and pretty much have, I wouldn't say Smash level, but I think he probably had pretty big aspirations for this game, because just thinking about it, just as a concept, is all these Nickelodeon characters crossing over and fighting each other. It's just it's fun to think about, and Nickelodeon just not giving them enough time or money to do so. It's just sad.
But I mean, I was kind of thinking that maybe it was just going to kind of die, but at least based on that update we just got, it seems as though I don't know if this means sales were better than we thought, maybe, but it seems as though Nickelodeon isn't giving up on it, because you have to assume that they couldn't be working on a bunch of new characters and stages and teasing voice acting if they weren't being given the money to do all that. So maybe Nickelodeon actually still believes in it.
I think Nickelodeon probably saw how big it got, from the initial reveal, and they're like, oh, let me give you some more money and you can work on post-launch stuff, that type of thing.
Exactly. And voice acting really is going to make such a big difference. It like on paper, it doesn't seem like it would, but I think when you really think about it, it brings so much personality.
It's just a big hole. It's a big hole in the game.
And especially when you're talking about some of the most popular cartoon characters of all time.
That's what they're known for, is their voices.
That's what they're known for. SpongeBob is known for Tom Kenny's incredible performance.
Yeah.
Same thing with Leonardo and Cam Clark and, everyone in that game. Like, can you imagine if they ever added Rocco, not being able to hear Rocco talk? Like, you just got to, you got to have the voice acting. I mean, when you think about Smash without voice acting, that just would completely take so much of the personality. Yeah, it would take so much of the personality.
A lot of the people are starting to speedrun BDSP, and they just have the volume turned off, and it's so weird, and like it's eerie, and it's the same thing. It's just like, imagine if Smash didn't have sound effects. It's just like, it's creepy almost to think about.
No, I always tell, you probably know, I'm like a huge proponent and fan of video game music, and I listen to a ton of it. And I think generally now, these days, people, respect video game music and composers and respect the role that music plays in a game. But occasionally I'll have people who are like, oh, no, I don't know if it's really that important. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. go play your favorite game on mute and
Yeah.
come back and tell me how that went for you. And almost all the time, they're like, wow, that really sucked. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
you got to have the music and sound. And, you know, it's different if you're grinding in an RPG or something and you want to play your own music, whatever. You know, obviously, music is a very personal thing. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, at least, I cannot play. I would rather not play a game than play it in an environment where I can't hear it straight up.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you there. I love video game music. Like, I probably almost close to your level of your love. Like, my favorite soundtrack has to be Smash Ultimate because you can't go wrong with that. There's so many different elements in there.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it even counts as your favorite OST because it's like so many different OSTs combined. But in my own personal experience, like, I love video game music. I can't play the games without them, and I think that it's very important to the games. But, like, you know, I go on a car ride and I'm listening to either one or two things, you guys, or video game music in the car, and then I, you know, go pick up one of my family members, or my mom needs a ride somewhere, something. She's like, yeah, no, turn this off. Like some people, like, they can't stand it, but none of my family members or anyone in my just sort of local family friend base, it's just like, or like in real life, not like on the internet. It's like they're like, what are you listening to? This is not real music. Like
that's such.
They want to listen to like Lil Nas X or something else. Like, I don't.
Music is music, and that's something I credit my dad with. He fostered my love of video game music early on, and he was like, hey, yeah, this is a new world for me. And he's a performer, voice actor, singer, so he's really musical. And he's like, hey, yeah, I don't get importing video game music from Japan. I don't get it, but this makes you happy, and it's all music. It doesn't matter what it comes from. It doesn't need to be a real instrument. If it's sequenced from a computer or from a video game console, doesn't matter. Music is music, and I hate. That's like one of my pet peeves when people tell me, "Oh, it's not real music." Like, get out of here with that.
Yeah, and
any music is real music.
Even think about it, like classical music. I mean, music doesn't need to have lyrics to be music either. Like classical, you can compare classical music to video game music. Like, it's just instruments at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So even if it's chiptune, they had to base it off some kind of instrument, right?
Exactly.
So,
and I love chiptune. I could listen to chiptune all day.
Yeah.
It's probably. I mean, it's chiptune is my favorite kind of video game music. To be honest, I love 8 and 16-bit soundtracks.
I'm personally, I'm a fan of remixes. Like,
nice.
I don't know if you've heard of Note Block or
I have
QMU or Vector U. I love those guys. Those guys are awesome at what they do. So,
I've heard of Note Block. I haven't heard of the other two, but
I recommend you check those guys out. And Stevie Viola as well. I think it's spelled Stevie, like CH.
Oh, gotcha.
But I'm not sure. But I found him through Note Block as well. They're amazing at what they do. They make, they're not really making their own music, but when they do, they also make amazing indie music as well. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. Next up is a game with good music as well. I'm trying. Okay.
Hey, man. Like I said, it just comes with practice.
Mario Golf got its final update. I don't know if you were able to play Mario Golf or the update, but I believe this added Ninja and 2 more courses, one with like Mario Brothers 3-esque art or 3D World-esque art.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the other one was. Yeah, they did add Wiggler. I was going to say that, but I thought it was like the last update. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Mario spin-off games, unfortunately. I love the RPGs.
Same.
I love the RPGs, and I love Mario Kart, but I never really liked tennis. I never really liked Party. I never really liked any of the other sports games. So,
I'm same. I kind of ran my course with Mario Golf and tennis back on the N64 and GameCube. I don't really play them anymore. Mario Party, I make an exception for, particularly Superstars, because I love a good game of Mario Party, and Superstars is like the first good Mario Party game to release in years and years and years. So I actually have been playing a lot of Superstars, and I'm with my wife and with other friends and stuff, and I'm looking forward to whatever DLC they probably are doing for that, given the data mines we've seen. But I didn't play the Mario Golf update.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I would probably get into Mario Party a lot more if I had more physical friends that liked Mario Party. Like, it's just Mario Party is literally in the name a party game, so you need other people to play in order to truly experience. And I don't think I've ever really had that. So
yeah, playing online isn't the same.
yeah, and even on like, you know, my first Mario Party game was probably 8. Yeah, no, it was definitely 8. But I had no one to play with, so it was pretty much sitting there on the shelf forever. Because I mean,
that's not a good way to play Mario Party.
So
yeah,
I mean, there are some good single player games like Mario Party DS, but it's not the same, you know.
Right. Completely agree.
But yeah, I put this on here mainly for Hylian, but unfortunately he didn't make it. But he really loves Mario Golf, and even then I really don't think this would have done it for him. He thinks it's a good game, decent game, but you know he prefers like I think World Tour. What was the one on 3DS?
Oh God, what is it called?
I think
Mario
it's
Golf.
World Tour.
It might be World Tour. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember. There have been so many different Mario Golf games, but
point is that
right.
he feels like there's a lot more charm in the courses, and he felt that that this game was a little bit more bland, and as I don't know if you've heard of Alex. Relax.
I've heard of him. I haven't really watched his content, but I've heard of him. Yeah.
He made a video about like Mario, and after like the 3DS and Wii U era, kind of played it safe and been very like bland and just mushroom firefly Tanuki suit, like just basic type stuff. And I think that Super Rush is kind of like on the middle ground with that. There's some cool elements in there, but it's mainly a play it safe Mario Golf game. So
yeah, I like the speed golf mode. I thought that was pretty cool, but I played it a few times and I was like, okay, I feel like I've had my fill. This isn't a game that I'm gonna stick around with really. Over any length of time. I had a lot of fun playing the original Mario Golf with my dad on N64. Like he loves golf, and so I have very fond memories of playing that with him. But beyond that, I didn't. He didn't play the GameCube one as much, Toadstool Tour, and then I just kind of fell out of it. The only reason I really played the N64 one as much as I did was because I played with my dad.
Yeah, we need Switch Sports, please. Like
I know, right? That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was like, I mean, hell. Clubhouse Games was amazing, but I'd rather play, the tennis and golf, but with like the original controls, not with Mario Tennis controls or the motion controls.
Exactly.
All right, next up, I think this happened this month. Dr. Mario World died. It's over.
Right.
No more.
Yeah.
I would say it's unfortunate, but this was like one of the weaker Nintendo apps, so
yeah. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even play it. I'm not a big mobile game guy.
Yeah.
I'm not against mobile games. I just prefer not to play games on my phone, really, unless they're rhythm games. Rhythm games, I'll make an exception for. But yeah, Dr. Mario World, I didn't. Yeah, I really am sorry. I don't have much to say about it.
Me neither. I don't either.
Dr. Mario Mobile, and it died, and I'm sorry for all the people out there who liked it. Yeah. I know what you're going through. I was a huge fan of Super Mario Brothers 35.
35.
Killed it. I loved Mario 35. I missed it so much. So I could certainly empathize with people who are going to miss Dr. Mario World.
I mean, we got some funny memes out of it, like Dr. Baby Wario.
We did. Yes, we did. Yeah, Dr. Goomba Stack, I think was
yeah. And I think what's one of my favorite Yoshi's Island games is DS, and I think that Dr. Baby Wario has like a magnet, which is a reference to Yoshi's Island DS, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Yeah, not very much to say, but it's just unfortunately another mobile game death, which means that more than likely Zelda game is probably, even though it's been in the plans for quite a while, it's probably not going to happen anymore. I would really like Miitomo or Tomodachi Life to come back in some fashion on Switch, but
Miitomo did, or sorry, Miitopia did. Miitomo hasn't.
Yeah, Miitomo.
Bring back Tomodachi Life. I completely agree. I had so much fun with that game, and I'd love to see it get a new lease on life on Switch.
Yeah. You're gonna say something about Zelda?
Oh, I just that mobile has been a pretty lucrative pillar for Nintendo overall with Fire Emblem Heroes. So I feel like if they can, if and Pokemon Go, of course. So I feel like if they can land on a model that they think will work for Zelda, I don't know that it's necessarily dead. I feel like they could still come out.
I mean, they did release Pikmin, but like I didn't hear
Yeah,
after it released. I didn't hear anything about it. It just
that's a
poof
total
gone.
blip on the radar. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think we've been hearing about this Pikmin mobile game for quite some time now, and it was an interesting thing to think about. But I just think there wasn't enough like reward compared to
right,
like Pokemon Go. So
right.
next up, or the final thing is that they announced more Lego Mario, which is
Right.
cool. I still wish that they would just release a like all I want is just Mario and just Luigi. That's it. I don't need the sets. I mean
Uh-huh.
that seems like it's mainly for kids, but I mean they look cool, I guess.
They're
But
cool. I think the Lego Sonic sets look cooler. I've
do they
never
have
looked at Lego
official Lego
Sonic sets
Sonic
myself.
sets? I didn't know that.
They I think they greenlit something earlier this
Oh,
year that
okay.
we reported on. I don't know when it's coming out, but I think it's happening. Yeah,
Okay.
it is happening. Yeah, it's based on the Sonic Mania version of Green Hill Zone.
Okay. I mean
Yeah,
they do have the Lego Sonic in Dimension, so there's that.
right, right.
But it's just I don't why like Nintendo Lego is just such a cool idea, or video game Lego in general. It's just such a cool idea, but they always have to. I think it's just Miyamoto, to be honest with you, but they always have to throw some gimmick at it, and like we didn't need weird looking Mario and
Yeah,
like all these crazy little like we didn't need to have Super Mario Maker in real life. Just a cool set. Like I think what was that most recent
right,
set that came out? Um, the question mark box that had Peach's Castle and Bob on Battlefield. That was
right,
pretty
right.
cool, but it's just like not the right scale, and it's just like why does it have to be this question mark box that opens? Just give us like a regularly scaled Peach's Castle, and I think it would. I mean, Lego is pretty high price, but I think it would sell gangbusters anyway.
Yeah,
So I mean,
agreed.
and I think it has to be a Miyamoto's thing where there has to be some gimmick with it. Like same thing with like
Probably.
F
I mean,
Zero and
that drives me crazy. I hate that about Miyamoto. Obviously he's a visionary. He's, incredible, but I do think that he's kind of gotten to a place where he's actively blocking things that people want just because he's forcing the idea of some
yeah,
innovation. And it's like all people want from F-Zero is a new one that runs 1080p, 60 FPS. That's all people want online.
just a
Like,
new
you
one.
don't
That's
need
it.
to innovate with it. Just make another F-Zero. That's People will be happy with that.
And
That drives me wild about Miyamoto.
hell, you don't even have to make it. Fast RMX guys can make it.
They can, or let Sega let them. Well, Amusement Vision isn't. They don't really exist in the same way they used to. But let Sega do it. I totally trust in Sega to handle F-Zero again, because they're the ones through Amusement Vision who made GX and
Yeah,
AX, and those were fantastic games. So
yeah.
yeah, let Sega do it. Let Shinen do it. I agree, the fast RMX developers, but let somebody do it. And while we're at it, can we please get a new Rhythm Heaven game? Please,
Yeah.
please. I love Rhythm Heaven. So I love
I
rhythm games, period. But Rhythm Heaven is so good, and I want a new one so badly.
I know that they'll probably never do this, but I think it would be best, and you probably don't agree with me on this, but I think that a PC game of Rhythm Heaven that's open source would be incredible, where you can add your own custom songs and things, because people already do that anyway with.
People already do it anyway. Yeah.
But I think it would be cool if it was like officially branded, because well, I highly doubt Nintendo will ever do that, but I think that's would be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I think it would be cool as an option. I wouldn't want it over a new dedicated Rhythm Heaven game made by Nintendo, but I wouldn't be against them also releasing like a Rhythm Heaven platform that people can make their
Hmm.
own stuff in. I think that would be cool. Yeah.
Or I
I
mean,
don't
they
think they'll
could
do it.
they could pull a bookmark too, Mario Maker bookmark thing where you can like upload your own
Right.
songs and just play them on your Switch too. But
Right. That would be cool.
um, I don't think I've ever played a Rhythm Heaven game before. But do they have built-in Nintendo music?
No, they're original soundtracks.
Oh,
They
okay,
they have their complete, so it's not based on other franchises. Kind of like there's nothing like WarioWare where 9 volt stages are based on other Nintendo
okay,
franchises. Rhythm Heaven is very much its own thing. with its own original soundtracks for each stage, and it's so good. I love
I
it. It's
I
my
recently
secret favorite Nintendo series.
I recently got recommended like a Kingdom Hearts Rhythm Heaven
Oh,
animation
Melody of
thing.
Memory is.
No, it was
Okay,
a
gotcha.
yeah, it was a just a YouTube video, and I just
Oh, I
thought
need to see this.
the news reporter lady, she's like, "Wubba dubba dubba dub, is that true?" That's so
Yep,
funny to me.
it's so good. You should play. You should play Rhythm Heaven Fever. It is, or Megamix, either one. Those games are so clever and so well designed, and I have to see this Kingdom Hearts mod. I hadn't heard about
I
that,
think it's
but
Kingdom Hearts, but I can't remember. But the main thing I took away from it was the Wubba dub, though. I thought it was so funny.
yeah, that's a fan favorite stage in Rhythm Heaven Fever. The ringside is called, starring
Yeah,
the wrestling reporter.
yeah. But do you have anything else to say about Lego?
No, I don't.
Oh, I think also too. It's kind of sad news to end on, but they completely declined the Metroid set and a couple other sets.
Yeah.
I think the Zelda set as well. Which, come on,
I
like
think it's
that's the
happening.
biggest thing that I hate with Nintendo is that we know that these things will sell, but they're just leaving money on the table for no reason, and we know they love
Yeah.
money, so it's like backwards.
I
like,
totally
ah!
agree.
Anyway.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Well, that covers it for everything that I want to talk about. I know we kind of run a bit long because of technology issues, but
No, all good.
thank you so much for joining me. It's almost like a dream for you and Steve before you to be here. I always wanted to chat with you just about video game stuff, and I probably have to chat with you a lot more about music as well because I love video game music.
Dude, it is absolutely my pleasure and honor to be here. Like I said, I just,
Yeah.
I see myself as just another guy who loves games, and the fact that you've been following my work for as long as you have means the world to me. But it's all about humility for me, and I just see myself as same as you, just a guy on YouTube and the internet who loves playing video games and talking about them. And so I'm happy to be here. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate you inviting me. And I'm sure Derek will want to do it too, for sure.
Yeah. And honestly, you were the one who inspired me to play Mega Man. So finally,
Awesome.
I
Hell yeah.
think I'm on 6 right now. I haven't started with Legacy Collection 2. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, if you're starting, that's in you're on Mega Man 7. If you're starting with,
Okay,
Legacy,
yeah.
If you're starting on, yeah.
So yeah.
And well, enjoy that. Mega Man 7 is an incredibly underrated game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's the only 16-bit Mega Man classic game, and I think it's great.
The only thing that's kind of pushing me away is that I relied way too much on the rewind function.
Rewind.
So
Sure.
yeah,
Well, I
I
think-
can't remember what's the one where you have to replay through the levels and you have to fight the two like big robots. I think it was it
Oh, you mean the
2?
Doc Robots where you refight the Mega Man 2 bosses?
Yeah, what game was that?
That's
that-
Mega Man 3.
That was 3. Oh, I hated
Yeah.
that part. That was terrible.
Yeah. No,
The patterns
I
were
like that
I
Mega Man
couldn't
3.
figure
Yeah.
out the patterns. It was anyway.
Mega Man 3 would be a much better game. I still think it's a great game, but it would be a much better, more well-paced game without the Doc Robot stages. I
Yeah.
think most people feel that way. Yeah.
All right, well, that seems to be a signature with us is we don't know how to end episodes. So,
No worries.
thank you again so much for joining, and I hope you enjoyed yourself, and hopefully we can have you on again maybe in the future.
Absolutely, and thank you for supporting Good Vibes Gaming. I really appreciate it. We've got some really exciting stuff planned for year 2. So
Yeah.
definitely
Excited for that.
keep an eye on what we're doing, and we got some exciting stuff planned. So thank you for supporting us, man.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.